Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines this evening. ISRO adds another feather to its cap, launching 20 satellites, including 3 local and 17 foreign satellites. Hopes to get a larger slice of the lucrative commercial space market. After Raghuram Rajan, BJP MP Subramanian Swamy trains his guns on the chief economic advisor, but government stands by Arvind Subramanian, says the BJP does not share Swamy's view. As the plenary meet begins in Seoul, China softens stand on India's membership bid, says it will play a constructive role in the discussions. At least 70 people dead in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh due to heavy rain and lightning strikes. More rain expected in the next 2 days. And Leave and Remain campaigners make last-ditch efforts before the Brexit referendum on Thursday. Country goes to the vote with both sides head-to-head in opinion polls. Our top focus on the bulletin this evening. The Indian Space Research Organisation has added another feather in its cap by launching 20 satellites in one go. ISRO launched 3 local and 17 foreign satellites from the Sriharikota space station in Andhra Pradesh on Wednesday. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari and Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the historic launch. With the launch, ISRO has also made a case for a larger slice of the lucrative commercial space market. Here's more.
3, 2, 1, 0, +1, +2.
At 9:26 a.m. this morning, the PSLV C-34 blasted off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota on a historic flight. In the biggest ever Indian space mission, the Indian Space Research Organisation has successfully placed 20 satellites into the Earth's orbit in one single launch in just 26 minutes. The PSLV rocket soared through the sky carrying 20 satellites weighing 1,288 kgs. The mission's main satellite was the Cartosat-2 series satellite, which will be used for cartographic, urban, rural, coastal land use, water distribution and other applications. The PSLV C-34 also carried 2 microsatellites created by students of Indian universities, Swayam from the College of Engineering in Pune and Satyabhama Sat from Chennai's Satyabhama University. The foreign satellites launched included 1 each from Indonesia and Germany, 2 satellites from Canada and 13 from the United States. Most of these satellites will measure the Earth's atmosphere and aim to provide service for amateur radio operators. After the successful launch, congratulations poured in from across the country. In a tweet, President Pranab Mukherjee congratulated the ISRO team on the successful launch. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also hailed the 20 satellite record as a monumental accomplishment. He tweeted that India's space program has time and again shown the transformative potential of science and technology in people's lives.
पूरा विश्व ये मानता है कि हिंदुस्तान का इसरो का जो टेक्निक है वो सोसाइटल एप्लीकेशंस के लिए अगर कोई भी देश कोई भी स्पेस एजेंसी ज्यादा काम किया है वो इसरो है.
ISRO has so far launched 74 satellites for global consumers. Wednesday's launch also affirms its rising position as one of the key service providers for the launch of small satellites. PSLV's consistent success and lower costs compared to other launch platforms have added teeth to ISRO's attempts to effectively commercialize its operations. Before ISRO's record launch, NASA in 2013 launched 29 satellites in a single mission and Russia in 2014 launched 33 satellites in one go. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on. Now, after RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan, BJP leader Subramanian Swamy is now training his guns on Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramanian, demanding that his sacking. Subramanian Swamy said that Subramanian was working against the country's interests, but the government stood firmly behind the economist, saying that it does not share Swamy's views. Here's more.
Well, the government has full confidence in the Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Arvind Subramanian. His advice to the government from time to time has been of great value.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley defending the appointment of Arvind Subramanian as the Chief Economic Advisor, saying he was aware of his stance on key issues including the intellectual property rights. The Finance Minister also made it clear that he did not give any credence to Subramanian Swamy's remark.
From the point of view of discipline of Indian politicians, to what extent should we attack those? The discipline and constraints of whose offices prevent them from responding. And this has happened more than once.
Jaitley's remarks follow BJP Rajya Sabha MP Subramanian Swamy demanding the CEA's sacking. It all started with a tweet in which Swamy said that Arvind Subramanian had convinced the US to act against India to defend US pharma interests.
He had deposed against India, and he was also, while economic advisor to the BJP government, praising the Congress for its objections on GST. Now, I mean, are we running a government or we are running a seminar? You see? So I think he should go.
Swamy's attack on the Chief Economic Advisor comes in the wake of reports of the latter being a probable successor to Raghuram Rajan as the country's central bank chief. With inputs from Vishal, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, joining me for a chat right now is our correspondent Vishal Dahiya. Vishal, after training his guns on the RBI governor, it looks like the chief economic advisor is the new target of BJP MP Subramanian Swamy, but it looks like the finance minister is standing by his man, at least for now.
Well, yes, you're right. The finance minister is standing by the chief economic advisor, but that's what exactly finance minister did in case of RBI governor Raghuram Rajan as well. If we go slightly back in time, we'll, all of us will remember then when first salvos were being fired from the BJP leader Subramanian Swamy against Raghuram Rajan. The finance minister was the one who made a statement defending Raghuram Rajan. But then finally, the RBI governor has announced his exit. He's announced his retirement, and the government is looking for his replacement. So will this similar sort of events be repeated in the chief economic advisor's case or not is something which we'll have to wait and watch. But one thing which is quite clear out here is the kind of displeasure which the finance minister has shown through his statement. He minced no words in pointing out that the politicians should abide by some discipline in attacking those who occupy certain offices and those rules of those offices prevent them from responding to the attacks which are, made on them or the allegations which are leveled against them by the political leaders. A clear indication or sort of, unmasked clear indication to his colleague in the party, Subramanian Swamy, to desist from, making such remarks further or attacking any other officer of the government like chief economic advisor or the RBI governor, which Subramanian Swamy has already done. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what exactly transpires. But as things stand today, Subramanian Swamy doesn't seem to have the support of neither the party nor the government.
Indeed, Subramanian Swamy does not seem to have the support of the party for now. But, going forward, can we see some kind of, a tiff between Arun Jaitley and Subramanian Swamy? I mean, could that possibly happen in the near future?
Well, Subramanian Swamy has not been ever known to be a sort of a friend for Arun Jaitley or maybe someone who has a lot of praise for the finance minister. This is quite evident. But then whether or not Swamy will take this fight to that particular level is something which we should wait and watch. But also all of us know that Subramanian Swamy is one political leader who does not mince his words and who doesn't let go of his rivals so easily. So whether or not he will push the pedal on the chief economic advisor's case or not is something which we should wait. But as I was saying earlier, this is quite clear that Swamy does not enjoy the support of either the party or the government.
All right, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much, Vishal Dahiya, for joining us there with those details. Meanwhile, the Union Cabinet has approved a package of 6,000 crore rupees to boost employment in the textile sector. Norms for the next round of spectrum auction were also approved, even though pricing of spectrum user charges will be fixed only after the receiving views of TRAI.
In a bid to boost manufacturing and exports and generate more jobs in textile sector, the Union Cabinet has approved a package of 6,000 crores.
इस सेक्टर को बूस्ट देने के लिए कुछ विशेष कदम उठाए जाएं और इसलिए कई स्टेप्स हैं। अभी आपको एक ब्रीफ प्रेजेंटेशन मिसेस रश्मि वर्मा देंगी, जो सेक्रेटरी टेक्सटाइल हैं, कि इस सेक्टर में अगले कुछ वर्षों में 1 करोड़ लोगों का, जिनमें 70% लगभग महिलाएं होती हैं, तो इसलिए कई इंसेंटिव्स देना, कहीं स्कीम्स को चेंज करना, रेगुलेशंस को चेंज करना, कि इस पोटेंशियल को हम पूरा रियलाइज कर पाएं।
The cabinet also gave its nod to 2 major road projects, including the 4-laning of Gandhi Setu in Patna.
टेलीकॉम कमीशन और एजी का ओपिनियन टीआरएआई के सुझाव के बाद में आए, इसलिए ये तय हुआ कि सारे प्रस्तावना को मंजूरी दे दी गई। केवल जो चार्जेस का इशू है, एसयूसी स्पेक्ट्रम यूजर चार्जेस का, सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स एक बार फिर टीआरएआई को दे दिए जाएं और शीघ्र ही अगले कुछ दिनों में उनकी पुनः एक बार राय ले ली जाए, so that we can fix the spectrum user charges.
Norms for the next round of spectrum auction were also approved. However, pricing of spectrum user charges will be fixed after receiving the views of TRAI. Vishal, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Well, moving on to some other news now. China on Wednesday said that it will play a constructive role in the discussions on India's bid for membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar is in Seoul to further push India's bid at the plenary of the 48-nation grouping on the 23rd and 24th of June.
In an apparent climb down, China has further softened its stand on India's bid for membership of the 48-member NSG. China has said it will play a constructive role in the discussions, though it maintained that the issue was not on the agenda of the NSG meeting in Seoul.
That China will not be the sole country opposing India's bid to NSG, because in 2008 also, after Indo-US nuclear deal, China had gone along. China wanted others to oppose, and when others are falling in line, China will fall in line too.
Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar is also in Seoul ahead of the crucial NSG plenary starting Thursday. He will lead Indian efforts to clinch the NSG membership, which is strongly opposed by China and some other countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too will take up the issue with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the SCO summit in Tashkent on June 23rd.
हमारी डिप्लोमेसी जो है जरा दबे होठों से होना चाहिए और चीन एवं पाकिस्तान के साथ हमारी बातचीत होनी चाहिए, तभी जाकर संभव होगा कि हम एनएसजी के मेंबर बने।
China on Tuesday said the door is open for the admission of non-nuclear proliferation treaty members, but the members of the NSG should stay focused on whether the criteria should be changed. China leads the opposition to India's membership. Turkey, South Africa, Ireland and New Zealand are also against it. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, BSP leader and leader of the opposition in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly, Swami Prasad Maurya, has resigned from his party. His resignation follows his outburst against Mayawati for auctioning tickets for the crucial Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections next year. He also said that he felt suffocated functioning for the party as the former chief minister has deviated from the party's principles. According to reports, Maurya could join the Samajwadi Party and find a post in the impending Akhilesh Yadav government's cabinet reshuffle next week. Reacting to the development, Mayawati appeared dismissive and said Maurya had done a great favor to the party by quitting.
पहले श्री स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य ये बताएं, इन्होंने खुद विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ा, उनके लड़के को टिकट दिया, उनकी लड़की को टिकट दिया। पहले वो ये बताएं कि उन्होंने बहुजन समाज पार्टी को कितना पैसा दिया इसके एवज में।
अच्छा पैठ रखने वाले कैंडिडेटों के चयन होना चाहिए था, वहां पर आज बड़े पैमाने पर ऊंची दामों को बोल बोल करके टिकट बदले जा रहे हैं और एक एक सीट पर कितनी कितनी बार टिकट बेचा जाएगा, टिकट नीलाम किया जाएगा, इसका भी कोई इंतहा नहीं रह गया है।
In other news now, several deaths have been reported from parts of north and eastern India as monsoon advanced in the region. Over 70 people have died in the last 2 days due to heavy rain and lightning. Bihar is the worst affected with 57 deaths. Here's a report.
At least 76 people have died by lightning in the last 2 days as violent storms and heavy rains lashed Bihar and parts of Uttar Pradesh. Bihar reported 57 deaths after an overnight storm on Tuesday. 47 people died in Rohtas district and 6 were reported dead in capital Patna.
बारिश हुआ तो बारिश में जो पेड़ था पेड़ पर हम लोग लुका गए थे, वहाँ से गिरा तो मतलब मालूम नहीं चला कब क्या हुआ, जब बीचे रास्ता है तब होश हुआ कि मतलब कुछ हुआ है.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar chaired an emergency meeting on Wednesday and announced compensation of 4 lakh rupees to the kin of victims. However, the death toll is expected to rise.
56 का आंकड़ा है, ये आंकड़ा बढ़ भी सकता है. इन्फॉर्मेशन आ रहा है, बहुत रिमोट एरिया से सीओज लोग का इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं आ पाया है, इसलिए देख रहे हैं कल 32 था, फिर 47 हुआ, फिर 56 हुआ. इस ढंग से फिर बढ़ भी सकती है, मगर सरकार हर देहरी तक पहुंचेगी आज.
According to weather reports, moderate to heavy rainfall and thunderstorms are likely in Bihar in the next 2 days. The monsoon is likely to shift towards central and western Uttar Pradesh this week. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
How are you really going to bring about a balancing act between the hardline and the moderate groups?
The Prime Minister has said, whatever my party president has said, is the line that which we are going to adopt.
Another trouble for the BJP is Varun Gandhi. At the National Executive, he saw his posters plastered across the city. Apparently, Modi ji didn't like this fact.
When these enthusiast supporters do something like that, they don't realize that they can, rather than doing good for their leader, they can do harm for the leader.
Watch To The Point with BJP National Secretary and spokesperson Siddharth Nath Singh only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, all eyes are on United Kingdom as it prepares for a crucial referendum on Thursday on whether to stay or leave the European Union. British Prime Minister urged voters to stay with the EU, saying that there could be far-reaching economic and political consequences should Britain choose to leave. Meanwhile, Leave and Remain campaigners debated heavily on the issue in a last-ditch effort to woo voters. Here's more.
British Prime Minister David Cameron made a dramatic last-minute appeal to voters to back staying in the European Union. Painting a grim picture if Britain leaves Europe, he said leaving would have far-reaching economic and political consequences for the country and the whole of Europe.
I believe very deeply from my years of experience that we will be stronger, we will be safer, we'll be better off inside Europe. To put it as clearly as I can, our economic security is paramount. It is stronger if we stay. If we leave, we put it at risk.
Meanwhile, in a last-ditch effort to persuade voters, UK's Leave and Remain campaigners clashed in a televised debate. The Leave campaign, led by Conservative MP and former Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, said that Britain had handed too much power to the European Commission and termed Thursday's vote a vote for independence.
Our entire trade negotiating policy is consecrated, is handed over to the EU Commission, where only 3.6% of the officials actually come from our country. And it is no wonder that they have not been, as Andrea rightly says, they have not been able to do essential free trade deals with China, with India, with all the growth economies of the world, including America.
Remain campaigners, including the London Mayor Sadiq Khan, accused the opposition of scaring people by telling lies.
You're scaring people to vote to leave the EU because, I'll tell you this, you're telling lies. Turkey is not set to join the EU. Turkey is not set to join the EU. You're telling lies and you're scaring people because you have used taxpayers' money to put out an election leaflet that says Turkey set to join, and there's a map.
UK has been warned by world leaders, investors and companies that a decision to leave would diminish the former imperial power's influence. Experts also say that the country risks losing international cooperation in the fight against terrorism. Leaving EU will also affect thousands of migrant workers that has become an emotive issue before the vote.
Myślę, że zagłosują jednak na tym, żeby zostać. Gdyby ewentualnie potoczyło się inaczej, doszłoby do tego, że Anglia będzie opuszczać, no wiąże się to z moim powrotem do Polski.
I worry just maybe a little bit because this will be reflect to us on one way or other. We live here a long time, we work here, we pay taxes. So when we going back to Bulgaria, that time will be lost.
Pro-EU activists across Europe have urged the nation to remain within the 28-member bloc. A record number of voters have registered for the referendum, with around 46.5 million people signing up to cast their ballot. Opinion polls have shown a divided vote, with younger voters more in favor of staying in the EU, while older voters tending to favor a Brexit. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other international news now, North Korea on Wednesday launched 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Japan's direction. According to South Korea's military, the missile test-fired by North covered 400 kilometers, more than halfway towards the southwest coast of Japan's main island of Honshu. The test was considered as the most effective test yet. South Korea's President Park Geun-hye said that North Korea was heading towards self-destruction with its continued missile and nuclear tests. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also condemned the missile test, calling the act unforgivable. Meanwhile, China called for the relevant party to avoid further worsening situation on the Korean peninsula after the North's missile test. The launches and earlier nuclear tests show continued defiance of international warnings and a series of UN Security Council resolutions and sanctions which North Korea rejects as an infringement of its sovereignty.
북한이 이러한 도발을 포기하지 않는 한 세계의 어떤 나라도 북한과 정상적인 관계를 맺지 않을 것이며 어떤 기구도 북한의 도움의 손길을 내밀지 않을 것입니다.
那么对于中朝关系，我们的态度也是非常明确的。中朝关系保持健康稳定的发展呢，这样对于解决朝鲜半岛的核问题、维护半岛的和平稳定都是有利的。所以呢，我们也会继续。
Well, Japan, which is still recovering from the twin earthquakes in April, now faces another natural calamity. Heavy rains have resulted in flooding and landslides, taking at least 6 lives. Over in China, persistently heavy rainfall has triggered serious crop damage along with human fatalities. Here's a report.
At least 6 people have died and 2 are missing as record-breaking rains battered parts of southwestern Japan on Wednesday. The region was only just recovering from the deadly earthquakes 2 months ago that set off flooding and landslides.
もうテレビの音も聞こえないしね、雷が鳴るじゃない。その窓をちょっと開けたらもう真っ白で、うちの外の街灯が見えるわけでね、その街灯も見えない。遠にがひどかったね。
Police are now looking for an elderly man who is believed to have been swept up in the irrigation canals. Authorities have warned of further landslides in areas where the ground was weakened by a 7.3 magnitude earthquake in April. Thousands are still living in evacuation centers, recovering from that. Meanwhile, persistent rain in China has led to crop damage and the collapse of over 10,000 houses. Estimated economic losses were more than $1 billion. China has frequently been devastated by natural disasters, particularly by floods and earthquakes. Flooding in the country has been worsened by the urban sprawl and poor drainage infrastructure in many cities. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Here's a roundup of the other international news in our Global Buzz.
'The
The aircraft debris found in Australia's Kangaroo Islands this month is not from the missing airline MH370. The debris was examined at Australian Transport Safety Bureau laboratories. Flight MH370 vanished in 2014 with 239 passengers on board when it was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Malaysian authorities are leading the search operation with Australia. The United Nations Security Council has strongly condemned the Kabul terror attacks which killed 27 persons including 2 Indians and 13 Nepalese on June 20th. Taliban has claimed responsibility for the attack. The UNSC General Secretary Ban Ki-moon expressed deep sympathy and condolences to the families of the deceased as well as to the governments of India, Nepal and Afghanistan. The UNSC also expressed concerns on the terror organizations like Taliban, Al-Qaeda and ISIL and their armed groups' presence in Afghanistan posing a threat to local administration, defense forces and foreign diplomats. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will be questioned by Swedish authorities after he completes his 5th year in the Ecuador embassy in London. He is wanted in Sweden since 2010 of a rape complaint. Assange is staying in the embassy after Ecuador provided him asylum. Since the first day of the rape charge, he has expressed that he might be extradited to Sweden and then transferred to the US to face charges of WikiLeaks activities. A smiling yellow 8-year-old jaguar known as Juma, which participated as a mascot for an Olympic torch ceremony in Manaus, was killed by a Brazilian soldier at a zoo on Monday. The shooting caused uproar among many animal rights groups. Juma was also a part of the Army's Jungle Warfare Training Center. The Amazonian Environmental Protection Institute is investigating the shoot. The jaguar is a rare and threatened species that has already been wiped out from Uruguay and El Salvador. And finally, some sports news now, and here's a roundup of the sports news in our sports beat. Indian boxers L. Devendra Singh, Sumit Sangwan, Manoj Kumar and Vikas Krishna are just a step away from qualifying for the Rio Olympics in their respective weight categories. Vikas Krishnan became the 4th Indian boxer to enter the quarterfinals of the World Olympic Qualifying Tournament after a 3-0 win over his Georgian opponent. On Tuesday, Sangwan and Manoj Kumar reached the quarters, needing only a win for Olympic qualification. Devendra Singh needs to reach the final to qualify from his category. In the Euro Football Cup, Croatia stunned the title holder Spain in a Group D match to qualify for the round of 16. Alvaro Morata gave Spain an early lead, but Croatia came back strong to win 2-1 and hand Spain their first Euro defeat in 12 years. In another match, Germany beat Northern Ireland 1-0 as both teams qualified from their group. Poland also booked a place in the last 16 with a 1-0 win over Ukraine. And in the Copa America, Lionel Messi led Argentina reach the finals with a 4-0 rout of hosts United States. The Barcelona forward passed Gabriel Batistusta's 54-goal tally with a stunning free kick. Messi also provided an assist to Lavezzi's opener, while Gonzalo Higuain scored twice as Argentina made it to the final 2nd time in a row. 4 times major winner Rory McIlroy has withdrawn from the Rio Olympic Games, citing health fears over the Zika virus. Vijay Singh and Australia's Mark Leishman have already pulled out of the Games because of the Zika issue. World number 4 McIlroy's decision is a blow to the sport, which is making a return to the Olympics after a 112-year absence. That's it on this edition of the news at 6. Have a good evening.